Oh, got it. Let's start. Anybody remembers what we are talking about when it comes to? Okay, just a second, I'll share my screen. Second. All right. All right. So we talked about this one. It's quite simple, but it's basically talking about not seeing how is everybody building the future, but it's basically understanding how the future is going to look like. Usually I would do it with industry experts or with thought leaders. I think all of you at the end want to be thought leaders to understand exactly, you're going to a new market, you have to understand the regulations and everything. So I see many people from the industry I'm from, which is space. They already know how in 10 years or 5 years the industry is going to look like, and then they talk about it and then come backwards, and then everybody's following them, and then they're becoming a brand without even a product. So this is something I would always recommend. I want to see anybody has questions about this model, or is it clear enough for you? Is it okay? So yeah. I would like to go to see do you think that any companies today, and I'm talking about big companies, which you think have failed recently to understand the trend of the future? Jose, can you tell me maybe one example? Any company that failed to know the future?
Of the tech companies right now, like Amazon thought that they were going to have the growth that they had in the COVID, Netflix as well. Now is planning a massive also layout. So yes, all the tech sector in general thought that they was going to increase more than it has.
Totally. So this is about prediction, because they didn't expect really that the people are not going to spend so much money, and then people don't have so much advertisement and companies don't have so much money. So this is prediction that maybe is a bit more micro. What about bigger trends that people don't understand? Radha, can you think about one example?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, hello. So, sorry, just a second. I'm having a trouble with my internet here. We're just moving offices. So just a second.
We hear you perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, could you repeat that? I lost you for a minute there.
Do you think about any companies which didn't see the trend, which is coming in 3 years, and basically kept without, like behind basically, the trend, ongoing trend?
Yeah, so I'm going to give the example you gave me. It's the banking industry, which didn't read, they should have read the market sentiments, and that could have helped them, wade through the COVID problem, which is, if they looked at people visiting, the banks and, mostly going digital or tech, etc.
Yeah.
And if they were, flexible with that, they could have overcome the problem through COVID and also currently as well.
Exactly. Banks, what we talked to a few of you, banks are now open for old people mainly. Young people, right. I consider myself still young.
Yeah.
Young people don't want to go to banks physically in Europe at all. They don't want to go to spend their time. I have 3 daughters. If I need something from the bank, it has to be after they fall asleep, online with professional, and not an online chat bot or whatever. So this is important. Leroy, can you give me a last example of companies who failed to see the future, and big companies?
I would say big pharma. I would talk about Moderna and tech biotech. These guys who actually came up with a vaccine solution using mRNA and machine learning, right? So apparently those 2 startups actually went way ahead in actually addressing the COVID situation. I think big pharma thought if there was a situation, they'll do it the old way, right?
Yeah.
But the pandemic came quite quickly for everyone, so there was a need for a quick solution that would require you to do 5 years of R&D or 10 years of R&D. Then these 2 startups, Tech Biotech and Moderna, we know about them today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Some just use technology. Correct. Gokman, I see that you said something.
Yeah, I'd like to share something. Yeah, I recall a video of Nokia CEO that he was saying in his own words, we haven't done anything wrong, but we have failed to do the right things for the transformation regarding Nokia, if I remember well. And also maybe I don't remember the exact level or the ratio, but in the last like 50 or 60 years, S&P 500 companies, like 70 or 80% have either disappeared or through M&As has changed a lot. So I do appreciate your slides here. Thanks for sharing, first of all.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. And I think the trend is right. Things are getting faster. The S&P 500, the big holy grail, is shaking. The big tech four, what Jose said, like they're crashing. So this is something which we have to see. Gaurav, I see that you are raising your hand. Yeah.
Right. One example coming to mind, which may not be very recent, would be Kia. How they failed to understand how the mobile industry is going and lost all their market share and ended up selling the mobile business.
Exactly. I don't know what about the mobile service, but this is, it's like didn't move since Steve Jobs died, right? So some things you're thinking like there will be disruption, you feel it, you don't know to which direction it will come. Let's talk about those guys. So Blockbuster, I don't know. I was born in '83, so I never used Blockbuster because I'm not American, but all I know, they failed miserably because they didn't get that people don't want to wake up at 8 p.m. with their pajamas and go to pick up cassettes or in the evening to make this. So this company totally failed. It just crashed. They didn't see the very basic ability because of the internet readiness to go to streaming. So the online streaming, they basically were not ready for this at all. What is the second example with those glasses? Anybody use those Google glasses?
Google glasses, yes.
Never used it.
Have you? No.
No, not
No.
used it, but I mean, it's only the hype that we read about it.
It was totally like we already, I saw it a couple of times in Israel. It was a gimmick. It was $2 billion project to bring it to the level, the high quality, to make it so small. And Zuckerberg is still looking into making that. He has this somehow cool glasses. He can record himself when he's surfing. I don't see anybody doing it, and I don't want to see anybody who want to be recorded. So this is quite epic fail for me. I think they didn't do the research understanding that just society is not really welcoming this. It's just not cool. How about being an avatar in the meta? No, you're like, no.
I think this is one more fad. I mean, I may be wrong, but this is just another fad.
Am I too old, or is just meta avatars in events is just awkward? What do you think?
I think there's no significant use case for that, or rather, probably they are aiming at the youngsters, or say the children segment, but even that I don't think is great.
I think part of this is too much money floating around pre-2021, right?
Yeah.
So like they say, zero interest money phenomena are some of these things that we are seeing. NFTs, metaverse, and one more app where you can swipe left and swipe right. I think the world don't need any more of that.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe I'm also old, but yeah.
Exactly, but I think maybe we're not the target audience if we are, let's say, 30 plus. However, I think still there was a lot of money in exploration this year in Web 3.0. Everybody said, that's it, we can go ahead to make NFT. And 5 minutes later came AI and said, you guys don't need to make anything anymore because we can create it through Midjourney within 5 minutes. So, or 5 seconds. So we don't need that anymore. So I think we're exploring. I think he didn't understand that this geeky avatar outside of the gaming world into reality. Or for example, one time I was in an online event and I was an avatar basically. And the avatar next to me, we were supposed to mingle and we kind of crashed into each other, and the social distancing was not there. It was so awkward. I was like, guys, no, I just left this event. If I want to chat with you, I'll just chat with you. I'll get onto Zoom. So this was just very awkward. So yeah, maybe we are seeing the first days of Web 3.0, and eventually it will evolve into something very mature. Last year, this industry lost around 400 billion just because of experimenting, and many people invested in NFTs. I invested in NFT, but I invested with Disney. So I hope one day I will be a millionaire. If yes, you'll see it. You'll see me going around with Disney NFTs everywhere. But aside of this, there was a lot of money sunk down. The last one is the hottest one. The most recent one is simply Google. If you saw the recent news about, of course, OpenAI, ChatGPT, basically totally disrupting. What is your opinion about this?
So I've read about what Google is already launching in a short, within a week's or month's time, about something very similar line with ChatGPT. But I think, see, once you have a cash cow running, right, which is Google AdWords, right? So it's very difficult to kill a cash cow and then say, hey, I'm going to go to the next level. And for all said and done, people maybe from the 2000 onwards never had a better search engine than Google. So let's give credit to Google for what they built, but maybe they thought that the cash cow will keep, generating cash.
Yeah.
And if you look at recent Google searches, I mean, it's really crappy, right? I mean, it's like first 5 links or 10 links are just ads. Whoever can spend more money on SEO. So I think the money kind of took away what these two tech founders had the vision of driving more tech innovations. So maybe MBAs took over the tech part.
And you're totally right. And there's no business plan right now for OpenAI.
Yeah.
There's no business plan. So even holy cows can be totally killed by something which doesn't have a business model. So your disruptors, like every time you guys think you're successful, this is maybe a lesson learned. Even if you have a cash cow which is coming and is doing good, today there is somebody else who's faster and is coming to disrupt you, for sure. Just don't fall asleep while you think your cash cow is very healthy. Google is crashing. They have red alarms everywhere. Shit, we cannot charge more money because people don't want to see advertisement because they can get their data in ChatGPT very quick. So this is something which is really, if those guys can fail, we can all fail, of course, small ones. So basically, what does it mean that we have to do? We have to see that we're not going ahead and just continuing as we were always. We always have to disrupt ourselves. Usually self-disruption is by collaborating with other companies. And we have to also not make some assumptions. We have to see that the things that we're doing are not according to assumption. We really have to understand if those people are interested in this. Of course, if you're making something super innovative, you cannot say, okay, people don't want it, so I don't make it. If Steve Jobs have thought about, okay, they don't need this smartphones, maybe he would, if he would ask everybody, people would say, no, I don't want my privacy, and then he would never go ahead with that. So in innovation, you cannot always ask people, but at least you can open your eyes to see the trends and to have some kind of your target audience understanding and experimenting some things in order to see that it's relevant. Otherwise, also it's okay to fail. Quick pivot. Of course, when Google Glasses were lost, billions of euros, whatever, right? They're going to do something else. It's not a big deal for them. It's just bad PR. But when it comes to our project, if we have some project, for me, in my business, I always have 20% in my business, which is moonshot. 80% I'm doing consulting, 20% I'm doing some things which I'm probably 99% chance they will fail. Big, epic fail. However, I'm doing that because this is my one chance, which is going to be a bit above the average. So if my usual growth is like this, like every company, I always have this 20% on the side in the 80-20 rule, which I'm going to do something just out of the ordinary. Maybe one time it will catch. Okay. So this is how I make sure I'm never being disrupted myself, because I'm disrupting myself. So this is something you can think. Any questions about the zooming out? It's okay. All right, let's go, guys, to here. Who wants to go first? We have two questions. One is, why should I invest in your company? Unlike any other company. The second question, if I give you money, how do I get my ROI? Who wants to answer the first question? You don't have to answer everybody all the questions. Leroy, why should I invest in you?
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, it feels like I'm back at high school, but let me go for it.
Let's
So,
do that.
because we are the only company that is using machine learning models and smart metering to pull in businesses into an energy market where clean and renewable energy companies can directly sell its clean power to its end users. And our winning business model is subscription and retail margins based. Today, we are in 2 commercial regions, which is Zimbabwe and South Africa. And we have a big client like Unilever, where we are having at least 60% on margins for all the revenue that we're getting there. And it's a recurring contract. And tomorrow, we're aiming to be, tomorrow or the future, we are aiming to work with microgrid operators through partnerships in more than 5 countries.
Amazing. Guys, was it too quick for you? Was it too red for you? Or are you convinced? Jose, what do you think? Would you invest in him?
I mean, it seems pretty good. I will need to go deeper on the technology they are using, because all these pretty words, machine learning, big data, and so on, it always seems really good. But after all, you need to check really how it is really on the background. But it sounds pretty good.
Do you understand what is his recent success?
I think the use of technology, of advanced technology that no one is using right now.
So what if I tell you that one of his early adopter clients is actually Unilever? Is it impressive?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Everyone, like,
Yes,
we
yes.
have 3 times a day a product of Unilever. So yeah.
Exactly. So Leroy, I think it's very important for you to, of course, memorize this and kind of spill it out. Have a pause in the middle and say, I'm the only one who's doing this and this, what we talked about, but also say, and guess what? Unilever is already convinced. So are you as well? Okay, so I think this is a great achievement that you've done, and showing off is really a great idea. So I would invest in you. Super. Jose, can I see, should I invest in you?
Well, of course.
Yeah, let's see.
So
I will ask Gokmen to see. Gokmen, are you with us? Let's see.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let me know if you want to invest in Jose. You can listen to him.
So, well, there is, as it's contrary from Leroy, we don't have a cutting-edge technology that is differentiating Toronto in the market. In fact, we are a project developer for nature-based solutions. There is also other players in the market, but we think we are addressing the 3 problems of this market that are transparency, scalability, and quality. There are no, for example, for nature-based solution for carbon sequestration projects, there is no transparency between who is getting the benefits of the carbon credits. We are ready to build a trustworthy market with all the players, all the stakeholders. Also, scalability. There is no enough operational capacities to operate in all the regions in Mexico. So if you go to any place almost in Mexico, like in 90% of the territory, you cannot do climate action there because there are not capabilities in the regions, and also the quality. The projects that are right now in Mexico, the world, not only Mexico, are not meaningful. They are not really helping communities, and that's in fact the whole goal of the Kyoto Agreement was that with the carbon credits, that the communities are the main beneficiaries of the revenues. And I think that Toronto is ready for that. And question when you're gonna get your money back. We are about getting your money back in 5-6 years, earliest in 2028, latest in 2032, and the exit strategy that we think that is the most plausible is IPO or merging with a bigger company.
Okay, Gokman, would you invest in Jose?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yes, sure. Why not? I love the answer. Did you understand what he's doing? Did you understand his USP?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is his USP?
The reason I'm saying that is if you want to invest, you have to spare some money and you must have the motivation. I have the motivation. I'm looking for the money to invest to Jose.
Great. Do you have any feedback?
I forgot to mention as well as the same as you told us, Leroy, of the clients we have on board. So also we have good clients on board as Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, or AB InBev. That are very big food and beverages company. And well, in the carbon market, we have Pachama as well. That is a American company.
Great. Look, unicorn. Okay, I'm from Israel. Everybody wants to be a unicorn. Everybody is looking into that. I think all over the world, unicorn has become a thing. But the unicorn has been recently slaughtered. A lot of unicorn blood has gone down because companies just don't get to those crazy valuations anymore. In the past, we had, and I'm talking the past last year, we had the investors wanting to know ARR, MRR. What are you guys earning every month? What is coming in? Today, they don't care. Because at least in my country, in Israel, everybody spent like crazy. We were joking, all the high-tech guys. We're having 2 Teslas. So one time when the Tesla is recharging, the second Tesla, you can drive with it and vice versa. It was a lot of money spilled because of the crazy valuation. A lot of money was going into Israel. Today, they're going to a different model, different animal. Do you know which animal? Did you hear about it?
Nope.
Cockroach.
Which one?
I've read about cockroach.
Cockroach. Oh my God, I didn't hear about that. Tell me about the cockroach with this model.
I mean, I have heard many more things, but the cockroach is something which has,
surviving anything.
Survived anything and survived, millions of years of evolution. But yeah, they're talking about, I think, not the unicorn. What was that? I forgot. If you tell me, I'll quickly
Anybody
remember.
else knows before I say this animal? This animal is also very connected to my country as well. Do you have any idea? No. Camel.
Camel, yeah. I read about that. Camel, yeah.
So today, to stand and say, please invest in me because I'm going to be a unicorn, people will roll their eyes, honestly, because unicorn no more. There will be much less unicorns because people will care about the health of the companies. So I would be very careful with, exit and so on. If yesterday the investors wanted to be with you a long way, today they want to hear that they're going to get Leroy. I think we talked about was it dividends, just to start getting very quick money in short term. If I don't see return of investment in 2 years, some kind of property, some kind of patenting rights or something like that, they will not accept it. They will not wait 5 years. Maybe you'll become a unicorn. So I just think about Camel is really about up and downs and really having long-term on one money. So in your opinion, maybe tell me how long would you have as a runway, which is minimum for you? What is the minimum runway for a company in 2023?
18 months, 18 to 24 months.
24 months minimum.
24 months, yeah.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is what they say. Maybe in the past it was 9 months. Maybe last year, if I would ask you, would say 9 months, 6 months. Today is 2 years for sure. So you can see it really changed because a unicorn get tuk up, and a camel has to wait 2 years until he can drink again. This is why really changing the business model to today's, no investor is coming. You just have to make your own money and don't get invested, but really see your business model is much more likely than the other. Okay, maybe Gaurav, can you tell me, should I invest in your company? Do you want me to invest?
Yes, please.
Why should I invest?
Sure. So, with your permission, I'll just share the screen. We presented it in a slide as you had suggested in our one-to-one session last time.
Okay, we got a slide. Look, he got ready. Well done.
Right. So at Cognitensor, what do we do for our customers? So the Deep Optics Blueprint technology we are serving over 20 happy customers. We do everything in-house and 360-degree customization is possible. We save customers energy costs up to 20% and thereby reduce their carbon emissions. And we do this by acting as an extended arm of their team. We don't just make the installation and run away. We're there with them from the start till the end. What you get out of it is accurate carbon footprint calculation based on real-time data, and in turn, real recommendations you can use rather than blanket statements that, yeah, you should be more green. We tell you exactly how you should do that. And all of this boils down to helping you in helping the environment.
Okay. What was your biggest success case so far? So like that, I would know it's not a napkin idea, but it's actually an operating idea. So I see here you have 20 plus happy customers. Customization, great, but how are you guys successful? Because this is just explain me what it is. Yeah.
Right. So our recent one of the installation is for the Shell data center in Houston, which is a very large data center where they run huge application. So we are going to integrate there and help them assess and reduce their carbon emissions out of it and saving their energy cost.
And maybe tell me the roadmap. What is next for your company?
So now we are aggressively expanding into USA and Germany. We have a new incorporation out of USA. So that will be acting as the base of operations for outside of India. And apart from that, we are building niche customer-focused solutions. Rather than trying to capture the whole market, we're trying to carve out our own niche area and apply a blue ocean strategy for it.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing the screen. So let me follow up on these two topics. Where do you guys go? Where do you think, if I have a new business, blue ocean strategy or red ocean strategy, or let's say pink in the middle? Where would you go? Where is your business currently going? Is it going to blue, red, or pink, which is in the middle?
So I would say we are trying to adopt the blue ocean strategy. We may not have everything and everywhere figured out, but that's what we're trying to adopt.
Can everybody raise their hand if you think you have blue ocean strategy? You guys, yeah. Blue ocean. Who has red ocean strategy or reality? Who has red ocean? Red ocean, okay. Gokman?
And can you just break it down for me for red and pink? I know the blue.
So blue, of course, is when nobody else is fishing. Basically, there's no.
You're creating a category or a market.
You're creating totally, and it's a lot about education. So you have to spend a lot of money and time in there. Red ocean, it's full. It's full. I think many people are already doing it. What we discussed with Jose is correct. Many people are doing the information and data and net zero. It's very busy right now. It's a buzzword. Many people are talking about this. So if you want to be different, want to get investments, you really have to make sure that you have something different. And something in the middle is something which is not here, not there, but it's really, it's not totally, you don't have to make market education, which is a plus. So I would always go to the pink. I would always go to the middle because I work with one company. One of my biggest clients is long range wireless energy. I think I mentioned to some of you. So it's 2 antennas, 2 kilometers away from each other and beaming energy. Okay. So basically think about the best use case is wind farms. Today, with a wind farm offshore in the water, and you have to send the energy back to Earth, basically, you have to dig down into the water, ocean bed, for around 5 years. You have to get regulations and everything. And basically, until you get that energy back, you already lost a lot of money and time. So this is very heavy project. If you basically have two energy antennas, you're beaming energy. It takes you around 1 month to install, and the energy is getting back to Earth almost for free. So saving time and money. So this is like obviously great. I was with my client in Brussels to talk to legislators, and they were like, no, but we didn't see anybody else who's doing long range wireless electricity. We didn't see, is it safe? If there's a bird passing by, if there's a child passing by, will they be fried by the energy? So even the legislators couldn't do that. It's same with flying cars, same with Amazon dropping things in your house. So this is totally blue ocean. There is one company in Germany I know which is doing flying taxis. So you can in Los Angeles from one building rooftop to another, you get an Uber basically. I saw Uber and they said in 2022 there will be already cars flying the Uber Air, right? They were flying from one place, and then when you go downstairs, there will be Uber taking you to the office. It's 2022. I don't think in 2023 we'll see it. Regulator said no way, right? We don't want cars flying alone, or some taxi drivers flying above our city. So same for the Boring Company from Elon. He wanted to dig in. They stopped. I don't know exactly what happened inside, but they stopped because it's about blue ocean. Nobody else is doing that. So everybody's saying, yeah, I'm totally blue ocean. Just what we heard here. Blue ocean is super risky. So you have to think very carefully if you have 100% of your business on blue ocean, or you want to say, give me something which people are familiar with, but not totally, this red ocean, obviously you need to do a lot of work to say why you guys are different. So Gokman, do you want to say something?
Yeah, the reason I raised my hand is if you recall from the last session, we are trying to play a blue ocean strategy in the region, but at the same time, red ocean strategy in product wise in a global manner. So I was just going to ask, but you already answered to some extent. I was just going to ask, what would be the sweet spot for the hybrid model or the other stuff? That was my question.
Yeah, I think you have to understand very good your market. And this is why, of course, now Gaurav, when you said we're going to 2 markets, Germany and the USA, I'm nervous. You have to understand, Gokman, exactly what is your sweet spot, and it's only by really understanding the market, what Germany wants, what your insurance people want, for example, if that's what we're going for, or whatever is, what is the real need, not to make this epic fail that we saw the guys before us saw, really understand the market. And for me, it's really hard to understand for my clients in so many cultures and so many markets. So if I were to invest in somebody and says, I'm going to 2-3 markets in the same time, I would have my alarms going up. Okay. So the more specific you get, the more successful you are. I don't say put your baskets in one, but yeah, I will see. What do you think, Gokman? What would be your approach?
For the reason that you want to invest in our company, or
or for the red ocean. I think you also had the red ocean, pink ocean.
Yeah, actually, what we have discovered so far, or we discovered so far, is we need to play a blue ocean strategy in the region. When I say region, the EMEA region, East, Middle East, Europe, and Africa, and the Turkey. And at the same time, we are just trying to apply some wild cards so that it can go to a global scale up, if possible. But they are sort of wild cards with low probability, high impact trials. So maybe I can answer to your earlier question as well, because you asked me previously the same.
Yeah.
I'd like to try to answer as a co-founder rather than an engineer this time.
Great, I like it. I think that's just a background for information for you. Every time we talked, he said technology is great and a lot of information, but technology said, no, I don't care. I need the business hat here. So thank you for buying a new hat for me.
So for the second speech, maybe would be as follows. The impact of weather and the climate is obvious. I don't have to dream about the impact. It's obvious. You can't control the impact of the weather, but you can. You can't control the weather, but you can control the impact to your business. To control the impact of weather to your business, you need to have solid products to fed from weather intelligence. So taking this as an axiom or assumption, we are playing a three-layer game that will attract you. The first one is the data, and the second layer is the predictions, and the third layer is the productization. So data, especially, it's getting wider and public in weather intelligence market. If you have proprietary data, that would lead to precise predictions. If you have precise predictions, that would lead to strong productizations. If you have the strong productizations, then you can you can close the gap that I mentioned in the beginning. So we are going this way. Maybe you can have a chat with us for an investor meeting. Yeah.
Super. Hey, what do you think? Was it good? Triangle. Yes. Great. Triangle. Super. Very nice. Well done. I really like it. What do you guys think? Achitra, what do you think?
Yeah, nice. I really liked it. I mean, I would definitely call for a second meeting within a week's time.
Or you're going to steal this triangle from him. Everybody, when I meet you in Berlin, you're like, we have a triangle methodology. So super nice. I really like it. Shira loves it as well. I think this is exactly what we have to say. Okay. So I think, thank you for hearing. I would like to go now to the second question. But this is really explaining why you guys are the best. Why are you guys are the ones who are doing it compared to the other? What is the methodology? What is the triangle methodology or whatever that you're going there? Of course, be careful with big statement. Red ocean, blue ocean. Blue ocean is a big statement to say, and it takes a lot of money and a lot of things. That means you will not be successful in the next 2 to 3 years. So blue ocean is it's something that some people are happy to are very careful to step on. Okay, so be careful with blue ocean. Be careful with too many markets. Gutman, you said that you're going to EMEA, so Europe, Middle East, and Africa. That's a lot. So be careful of that. Be careful of promising unicorns. Unicorns, that means maybe you're still living in some kind of hope that you're going so quick. There are not so many unicorns anymore. They came back to become unicorn. So maybe we would say we have a runway, or we are planning to have a very healthy runway that people would like to hear more, and to see how a strategic partner, different milestones with roadmap that people can come. So this is a bit more 2023 pitch rather than 2021 pitch to say, oh my God, we're unicorns. They're like, yes, great, we want to be a unicorn, and everybody's a unicorn party. So that was
that's one thing I had for Gokman when he said that. But I think even saying, I'll be in LATAM or I'll be in Asia or even Africa is quite a stretch for early stage startups like us. So even if somebody comes to me and says, hey, this is something that I want to do only for Mexico or only in Berlin to start with, right, or in Germany, I think that gives me, as an investor, I'm saying now, wearing the investor, more confidence that, okay, this guy knows that he wants to do something in pilot before they go to scale. Or, I mean, scale is a much later stage, even to make sense of how the unit economics work, right?
Totally, I agree. Gokman, what do you think?
I mean, going after a region or going after a product or is a decision we are not able to make at the point, first of all. So maybe a startup, after all of the discussions that we had in the past, I'm coming to a point like maybe a startup must be a startup. I mean, must go after a product and in a specific region and then scale. We are trying to do the other way around, maybe scale all the things at the same time. Yeah.
It's cultural, you know, it's cultural. In my country, in Israel, we do everything from day one. We say we're successful with day one. We don't have a product yet. Day one, we're already raising money. But we are totally okay if it fails. Most people in Tel Aviv, if you go around Tel Aviv and you see people sitting having coffee with paper and writing notes, that means you already failed 2 startups. That's the average. That's a true story. I really want to make a tour one day to bring it to Tel Aviv to show you behind the scenes of the Israel landscape. Most people fail 2 startups. So if you tell me, Priel, I don't have a product, I'm going to try, I will fail, but I don't care about that because I will make connections, I will learn, then it's okay. But if you're not a crazy Tel Avivian Israeli guy or girl, and you actually want to succeed from try one, I don't want to succeed from try one, but if you are the guys who want to try from try one, to succeed from try one, please focus on your product, focus on your target audience, focus on your market. And then when you describe it, I'm going on this specific niche, specific thing, I'm going to be super successful over there. And then when I get to this point, I'm going to start with 2 products, 2 locations. And then when I succeed, I go to 4. So explain it in a methodological way. People then will believe you and will say, okay, this guy has a vision of growth, but in the same time, he's not going to 5 or 10 like a crazy Israeli and say he's going to be successful with he has a team of 1. So of course, I'm showing here black and white, but please recognize when you're saying I'm going to EMEA, to 3 different continents or 3 different regions, which are very different, like Africa is not one country, obviously, you know, then people will say, okay, you're ambitious. Maybe they like it, maybe they're not. So this is just a point. So I think today, over the last now 10, 15 minutes, we really saw something that is good to consider when you're pitching, how to pitch it, how to describe it. I think everybody did great. But more than that is really some terms which are just have to be careful now in 2023 when it comes to growth. Okay. Can we go to the second question? Yes. So next question is money. Okay. How will I make money out of investing you? This is not me, by the way. She looks, no. Okay, guys. How do I make money out of investing money in you? So basically it's return of investment, okay? Achitra, can you tell me if I give you $1 million right now, or euros, or Bitcoins, how would I get Bitcoin? Yeah, you know, how would I get the money back? What is my ROI looking like in short term, long term? And how is this money coming back to me? And everybody knows Achitra's business model. Maybe say one sentence, what is your business about? You're on mute, sorry, you're on mute. Yeah.
Sorry, I was on mute. So I have also taken the liberty of putting a slide because ROI is something that any investor looks at.
Super. Maybe just one sentence of what you do. So
yes, I will do. I'll do that.
We are the only company.
No, so we are not the only company, but we are more on the pink ocean as I try to understand more from you. So we have found a huge market gap in servicing businesses who are looking to recycle their electronic waste, companies who have low e-waste footprint are not large enterprises, but at the same time, not very small micro enterprises. So that's the gap that we have found. And we have been doing this for last 7-8 years with over 150 odd customers across India and profitable for last 4-5 years. Yeah, so the model that we are looking at, and I think this is important for you to understand why the money is being asked and where we are going to put it. So what we are trying to do is actually create a take back program by partnering it one of the large German enterprises to meet their e-waste gap or extended producer responsibility targets. Now, the thing with Germany is that not only the e-waste recycling and collection rate is much lower than what is required. So they collect only about 45% of the e-waste that is being generated, but a lot of that is also being shipped to, destination countries like India, Africa, because the cost of recycling in Europe, which is around 11 euro, is much lower, high than shipping it to countries like India and Africa. So we are trying to create more like a Robin Hood model, business model, where we are trying to service high-paying EU customers to target mostly German companies who have strong focus on India, Africa, and fill their e-waste need. And with the money and that we earn from that, we create recycling infrastructure in countries like India and Africa, right? So that's the business model that we are pitching in Germany, or rather, I would say that's the first hypothesis that I have that I want to test when I'm in Berlin, right? Yeah, so we want to tie up with a large German enterprise like the Bosch or the Siemens, which have a strong, India Africa focus, and then start with a pilot collection in Germany. So the 1 million that I'm asking from you today goes to creating the German entity, which will actually own all the IP, customers, and also the high value output that the recycling infrastructure in a country like India is actually generating. So if you know anything about e-waste, a lot of printed circuit boards, which have high value materials like gold, silver, and rare earth, are being processed in backyard techniques in countries like India. So we want to send those back to Europe, to European companies like Umicore in Belgium, but at the same time create more safety and environmentally safe standard recycling capacities in countries like India. So your money is going in creating this German entity who owns the IP, the customers, and the output. And in the eventual that you want to see an exit, right? Because what I've also understood that most of the European VCs or investors do not like to invest outside of the European regulatory framework. At max, we were told they can look at an US entity, but what we can do is eventually sell this entity to a large e-waste recycling company.
What is my X? What is the X I'm getting back?
Yeah.
1 million.
Sure,
when am I getting my X back?
Right. So in the 5 years, this Indian entity would reach a top line of anywhere around 5 to 7 million euros is in terms of top line. So even if I look at selling this entity at 1x of sales, right, you are still getting 6 to 7x in the next 5 years.
Okay,
good. So that's the ROI.
And I would split the European customers into two. Because I think if you only go to the Bosch and the big companies, it will take you forever. I told you my experience working with the biggest companies. It takes them 2 to 3 weeks to answer an email. So to get them as customers is half a year to whatever. So I want always to see dual strategy. Okay. Do not go only to 2 months. I think Leroy.
When I'm doing the awareness, it's mostly digital and partnering with startups like food delivery or anybody who has access to households or consumer electronics. That's just the launch of the brand. But while I will start, talking to these enterprises from the first month itself, I'm assuming it will take at least 8 months before a first guy signs on the paper and says, okay, you start work. I mean, that may be still optimistic by German standards of what you told me and, the discussion that we had. But as an entrepreneur, I need to be optimistic at least to some extent here.
Yes.
So say on the Yeah.
I would always say then I would do dual strategy. This is always important. I think, Leroy, it's very relevant to you as well to have dual strategy. And then we're not sitting and waiting for Siemens maybe to answer back. Like I'm working with some project in Ukraine, and they need some money from Siemens Energy in order to give startups there to develop their energy sector, energy startups, because obviously they have a very big problem with energy. I had a phone call with the head of innovation of Siemens Energy, and I said, hey, we need 150,000 euros to give to these startups. Is it okay for you? And within 5 minutes, she said, yes, okay. We have the money, we have the budget. Let's do that, basically. She said that yes 2 weeks ago, on Friday, 2 weeks ago. And she was like, yes, let's do that. I still didn't get an answer back to say, what are the next steps? If you know, and they were very keen. They were like, let's do that. So it's not even they were like considering if to do it. They said yes. Just to show you that we cannot wait for these big companies to make the decision. Really, cannot be only one. So I like it when you put it a dual strategy and you said we're going with a large corporate, the biggest one that you can think of, but at the same time we're going to have small collaborations in order to start getting the money going. And then when we finish with that, the guidelines. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I also need to, kind of announce our, presence in the market, right? Say we are there, right? And we mean business. But I can't wait for an SAP or a Siemens to tell me, okay, now you are good to go, right?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I think, and this a similar strategy we in fact did it in India and kind of saw the traction because we had more news articles about us in the first 12 months than actual business because we did not have any business model then. But we did a lot of awareness programs with the government entities, with private companies, with apartment complexes, which actually got us the, I would say eyeballs to say and pivot to a B2B model and say, hey, I'm ready with all that you need, right?
And would you do B2B and B2B big, B2B small, and B2C as well? Or would you forget about B2C?
So B2C is branding for me. I mean, that is something that I've understood doing this for, last so many years. That you can't ignore B2C, which is why you need to maybe do an awareness program, do a drive. We do it with bicyclists on the roads. We do it with apartment complexes, and stand there for the day or for a weekend and say, hey, any e-waste that you have, please come and drop it. Because the same people who stays in these apartment complexes are the people who work in SAP and Siemens, right? So they take me there. Or at least when they hear the email from Achit from Binbag, they say, oh, okay, I have seen this guy somewhere, right?
I understand.
Or a girl. It could be a German girl also. I mean, eventually I'm very particular about the girl when I speak to you now. So that's the way that we are trying to enter the market, and I'm assuming in say 8 months or so, I'll be in front of the table with an SAP or a Siemens or a Bosch.
Well, you already got the name of this guy from, so use your time in Germany. Perfect. Thank you very much for sharing the screen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Leroy,
so would you invest?
Yes, of course. I'll give you the money when we meet. Easy, but it's Bitcoin. It's some kind of coin. Leroy, what do you think? Do you like his return of investment?
I love the impact. I love the bigger picture. Though Achitra didn't say what was, the X size, if I put 1 million, how much I would get out of it. Probably also maybe it's too early, and also they're entering into new markets. They may not have a perfect answer for that, but the impact, the ambition is there. Yeah, if I have 1 million, Achitra, I would definitely put it in there and work with you to have a strategy on how we can realize the returns.
Perfect. Great. Thank you for the feedback. Who are you guys? Which of you guys working with the 20/80 rules in general? 80/20 rule.
For customer concentration or
For everything, for your life, for your business, for everything. Who's working 80-20 rule? Raise your hand. Who knows what is 80-20 rule?
I don't know.
Okay.
What's that?
So 80-20 rule basically is, once I realized that, it just changed my life. It is not an advertisement. I'm not selling this, but it's just some methodology that once you see it, everything is right when it comes to your business strategy, or when it comes to your life, on how much time you're spending on what and what you're trying to do. 80% of my time has 20% of the impact, and vice versa. 20% of what we will say today is what is make 80% of the impact on you, and 80% of what I said you totally forget. So like this. And when I present my strategy, when I create my yearly, on January 1st, when I was sitting down and creating my strategy, I was really looking at 80-20. I cannot have 80 or 100% of anything anymore since I created this. When I ask you about your return of investment and your strategy, I also want to see somehow 80-20. You can call it 70-30 or 60-40, but I never want to see one strategy. Okay. This is really something which is one strategy that means you are not flexible enough to an investor. So I think I like it now, Chitra, when you brought it up, that you said we're doing this, but we cannot ignore the B2C at all. Of course, it's e-waste. Eventually, people have this e-waste, but if you go and buy a kilo of e-waste from them, it will not make you rich. However, this guy who gives you can say, oh yeah, by the way, I'm the CEO of blah, blah, blah. Come, we have a lot of e-waste, come over. So this 20% of money can turn overnight into 80%. Also, big companies, they have small departments, and then they're using that in order to make the 80%. So, for example, this bank system, they use the digital until one day they had the digital department flipped over in Corona over one night. They have to use 20% of the people who are using in the digital department, 80% sitting in the office, and one night in the January of 2019 flipped. 80% were sitting in online and 20% were sitting in the office. So you can see really this is a methodology. So when you're presenting something, always present it in 80-20 rule. It will really help you. So this is an idea. Okay. Who else want to present their ROI to me? Yeah, please go ahead, Rana.
I can go. So we are patented filterless dust control technology, and so we would like to take the 1 million euros from you, and we can promise you 2 times the 2 times the investment every year from year 4 onwards. So
Right.
that's close to about 30 times your
I'm
money.
giving you the money. It's done. Okay. Guaranteed. Okay.
And this is backed by our growth in the last 4.5 years already. So every year we are almost doubling our revenue. And with the investment, we can do that in the next 10 years for you.
I love it. What is your methodology? How do you get there? I mean, this sentence was super clear, so I really love it.
Yeah.
Tell me, how are you going to make this magic?
Right. So we have a mixed strategy. So we have, marquee clients like BHP, Tata Steel, JCB, and Stellantis, who are already using or in talks with us for the technology. But like we have seen, they take time. But they are the big ticket ones. So again, the 80-20. So they give us 80% of our revenue. But we also have mid-sized and small segment companies. So in Germany, there are about 3,100 chemical plants, and there are over 50 cement plants, and each of them with an average revenue, annual average revenue of about 40 to 50,000 euros will easily get us to about close to 250 million euros in the next 10 years. So thank you.
Who has 1 million to give him? Already giving mine. Give him. I really liked it. That was really nice. Jose, what do you think?
No, the figures he's saying, it's they are really good. In fact, it makes me feel that if I had the 1 million and the growth of doubling the growth for the past 4 years, it's impressive as well.
Yeah, thank you.
It was
Because-
very nice structured, very nice. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, Gokman, what do you think about this?
I mean, straight to the point, short, if effective. So I have the interest in the area. So I'll ask the account number right after the call.
Super nice, good. This was very clear. That's what we do, very simply. This is how we're scaling and so on. The follow-up question as an investor, I would say, how are you guys making sure you're not being disrupted? Okay, because you like look on the right path, and then in the middle somebody can come and say, yeah, but we're doing it better and faster. This technology, the Chinese can copy what we talked about. Because we said in China, of course, I lived in China for 8 years. The pollution is disastrous. We didn't see the sun for half a year easily. You know, anti-pollution things would be great. So I think there it would be really important. However, Europe has a lot of regulations which need your solution. So, however, I would not go with an Indian technology and team to China. They would say, yeah, we can copy you without a problem. I would make a German entity, call it a German technology, and then they would be like, oh my God, we cannot copy Germans. Okay, let's do that. So the roadmap really, I would go there. So when we come up about disruption, it's really sometimes psychological, sometimes cultural, sometimes it's just being a bit understanding what the market respects and what it doesn't. So it's really, I think, to have this kind of a German entity to get into China, maybe is a good game to play. But great speech. Thank you very much. Good. So we have time for 2 more. Who else want to pitch return of investment? Leroy, are you in?
All right, let me share my screen so that I don't get lost.
Are you sharing your screen?
Yeah, I'm trying to share.
Okay, be careful because Leroy's presentation is the most beautiful presentation you're going to see in the world. I'm embarrassed my presentations are not as pretty as yours. Hey, as pretty, come on.
So pretty much we are asking for $1 million to you.
Yeah.
So to over 100 microbits in sub-Saharan Africa, pretty much 2 key markets, which is South Africa and Zimbabwe, and some commercial pilots in Australia, right?
Yeah.
And how would we make money out of it? I think we've put up a revenue stream schedule, really, to say the bigger microgrid operators, the more they pay. We are looking to get around 15,000 to 30,000 a year on a 2 megawatt microgrid in a region like Australia or South Africa. And this indicates that by year 2024, with those 100 microgrids, we'll make around $5 million in recurring revenue. So you can grow by 3 to 4x in those 2 years. But if you stay longer, I think we can stretch it to 10x if you stay for 8 years.
Okay, that's good.
We doing, right? So already there are early signs. I mean, we managed to grow from 17,000 in revenue for 2021 when we transitioned from pre-revenue for $100,000 in 2022, right? Which was a big jump in terms of our growth, and also being bigger clients like Unilever, right, who are giving us good margins in terms of their subscriptions. And also we have a strategy to bring smaller energy operators, right, like Zuwa Nuvo Energy, which is in South Africa. That is a portfolio of over 150 microgrids. So there's a clear path of us getting to that mark through them. And yeah, I think our mixture in terms of our technology in fitting into our market, there's a part where the bigger players will play a role, and also the smaller players will play a role, which will be easier for us to really get. Yeah, thank you. That is our
perfect. Thank you. And your company, maybe stay on this slide for a second. I see your growth. Great. How do I get the money back? I'm the investor. How do I get the money back in each point? Are you giving me dividends? Are you going exit points? Because maybe some investors want to know that I mean, this is until 2023. That means it's in 1 year. That's 60K per month, which is great amount of money. What is your methodology about reinvesting the money? So this may be a general question for everybody. How are you guys? What are you guys doing with the money? The minute you're getting to 6K per month, that's the income, not the bottom line, but what are you doing with the money back? Are you sending it back to the investors? Are you keeping it and reinvesting in the company? Are you going on a holiday? What are you doing?
As an executive team, definitely we are declaring a dividend. We'll just declare probably 15 to 25%. Okay. Then probably the 75% we reinvest into growth and scale into that market, so that we into that market we have presence, and also adopt business models that will allow us to deploy quite easily without any friction. Right, this could be a case of capex, right? So if we are in a position to finance our own capex, so that the client gets on board, so that we get a bigger customer lifetime value over 15 to 20 years. That is our methodology in reinvesting the money.
Perfect. I like it. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing the screen.
All right.
This is good. What do you guys think about dividends returning? You said 15 to 20%. Is it too high or is it too low? What is it good to have dividends? What do you think? What is your common sense, guys?
Well, I think that it's high, no? I think that maybe it's for a 50%. It seems pretty good.
Yeah, I think if my margins.
I think. I mean, for me, I actually don't want a startup to say that they will pay me dividend, even if it is 2023, right? If I'm able to write a check of 1 million euro or dollar, right, that means I can wait for that much longer and for him to grow it to 5x, 10x, right, rather than giving me dividend, because I would rather than put it in a fixed deposit or keep it in a savings account, or maybe stock market, which anyway gives me 10, 15%. I mean, I'm talking about Indian numbers. The percentage may vary, but
that's
I would not. At least that is unless it's like a private equity late stage pipe deals kind of thing where I'm rolling $1 billion of money so that the money keeps circulating. Yeah, I mean, that's my quick take. I mean, from whatever experience as a VC that I had in investing early stage companies, I mean, the word dividend is kind of a red flag. Sorry, Leroy, I mean, that's my personal take. But you bring the check for me, okay, in Berlin.
Yeah. That's done. It's considered done. That's I think, somebody raised hand. Rada, go ahead.
So I just want to add a couple of points on this. I think I do agree with what Ajitra has said, and it's mostly applicable for innovation or new technologies which are taking off. But I think with the context of power, which Leroy is dealing with, it has traditionally been of smaller returns over a longer term, because that's a very capital intensive kind of a situation. So probably that would make a better business model for Leroy in that particular context. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
And it depends also what kind of investor we're talking to. Is it private investors, angels, exactly, or big companies like Unilever? Yeah, I don't need your 5 years back. So yeah.
Right.
Okay, great, good point. Anybody else raise a hand? I think Rao. Okay.
I didn't say. I was wondering why. One of the problems we have is we are not selling any technology. We are doing projects with nature. So one of the biggest problems that people are not understanding the cycles of ecosystems. We cannot. If you are waiting for a 5-year exit, we are not there. If you are hoping us to accelerate the terms of nature, we cannot do it. So sometimes it's very difficult. At some point, I remember my co was explaining how photosynthesis is done, because how trees are capturing carbon. So this is more about education for us, because as we don't have as I told you, a cutting edge technology that is giving us the service we are doing today. It's ready for 1 month. An average net pay solution is 3 years. It's good and bad in the sense that our sales cycle it's longer, but we have at least a backlog ensure for longer period. And yeah, that if a venture capital have very soon exit strategy, we don't have it. So that's why we are really targeting venture capital that have a sustainability target or environmental target, and that understands how environment works. And we are being more focused not on the ROI but on being healthy. That is to mean we are focused on our cash flow and having a profit. So not really on what you're getting, in how healthy we're gonna be in the following years with our cash flow and our benefits. So if you ask me what's your ROI you're gonna get, we don't know, or we are not telling you, and we are telling you that before 2028 you're not getting anything out of us, just so that they know as well. And the only thing we can tell you that is we are having a healthy growth. We're going to have a cash flow and benefit out of our projects.
It's great. And I think this is straightforward, which is what people need to hear. It shows understanding of the company, understanding of the environment. So I think this is pretty healthy. Make sure you're talking to the right people.
Yeah.
Because some people, like angel investors, I'm an angel investor, I'm putting my money. If it disappears, it's okay. I am coming. In average, how many companies will succeed out of my investments? One out of how many will it be successful? Do you know?
Like maybe 2%.
One out of how many?
100.
10.
100. The statistics say 1 out of 18.
18.
Okay? 1 out of 18, that's the statistics. If you make a good investment, if you're lucky. So 1 out of 18, if you make a little bit due diligence, okay? I invest every year in around 5 companies. So eventually I want to get 18. So eventually one of them will succeed. And then my return of investment, good if I'm lucky. So it means in 5 years, I will get a phone call, say, Priel, finally we did an exit. The camera died, became a unicorn, great. So this is it, okay? But this is a mindset because I'm okay if this money that I'm putting in is totally disappearing. I'm also okay with that. This is my 20-80 plan. Huh? So 80% I put in stocks and I put everything. 20% I put in NFT and other crazy things. Maybe one day to return, okay? So I totally understand, but you have to understand also who you're talking to. If you go to VC, they will cut you and will say, I will want to squeeze anything out of you, even if that means your company is dead. I've seen so many companies that after getting investment, so they were celebrating, yeah, we got invested by VC. Guess what happened 2 years later? They squeezed every juice out of them because they want the money out. Company couldn't survive, and they died simply. So I work with a lot of investors that I bring. For example, in the Netherlands, one of my investors is half governmental and half private equity, and they take normal equity, of course, but we have to see that they give you all the surrounding. If you come, even they bring your girlfriend or your wife a job, and they will make sure that the university is really supporting your best experts is coming to your business. So the whole ecosystem is really welcoming to entrepreneurs, but maybe the equity will be a bit higher. Okay, I cannot hear you. Sorry.
No, that it's true that also we are also focusing on you have these investment funds that have their branch of sustainability, like we are having, for example, with AXA Investment Manager, that they even have a spin-off that we're working with. In fact, that is how we met them. So these kind of people that understand how it works, they really know, it's like the corporate or specialized funds, in environmental services.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I'm coming from the space background. In order to build one satellite, it takes 10 years.
Yeah,
as you said, there will be no return of investment. So, but if I go to a VC in the space sector, and I say, I want to have now 5 million because this is hardware and I need to bring it to the moon. Yeah, I've seen many companies who just died because of lack of runway recently. On the other hand, the ones succeeded, they succeeded big, but usually you can see those companies have dual strategy as well. So they have some Earth applications, they have low orbit, because space you can cut into Earth application, low orbit, so I could just shoot out a small rocket that is very cheap, and to go really above to the moon and so on, it's really big. So people always do 2 different strategies. So maybe this is something you can think about as well if you're having to talk to VCs, you know.
Yeah.
You have to prepare all scenarios, huh?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And concerning the space, I was listening to a podcast that is Business Wars about the SpaceX and Blue Origin, and it's kind of difficult in that sector.
Totally. And many companies are dying at the moment, but yeah, some succeed big, you see. So it's about strategy and some luck. But I say the better you work, the more lucky you are. So I think the more strategy you come to the table, the more lucky you will become. So great. Any other comment or question from anybody? I see everybody turn off the camera, so maybe everybody can turn on your camera for the last part before I see you live in Berlin. So thank you so much for this overview today. I think we touched a very important point, very strategic point when talking to investors. Don't forget, you guys, a lot of you are technical people. Talking to investors is nothing technical. It's very emotional. You have to be really relaxed, breathe, and also to these big companies who are going to be your partners, a lot of patience. Don't take it personally if they don't answer. I warn you in advance, German culture is very slow, very calculated. They look at the numbers and then they come back to you with more questions. And so on. It's a very different culture. However, there are big things happening which are very relevant to you. Always go for dual strategy, please. Show dual strategy and yeah, have a little bit of shamelessness. I think Leroy, we talked about it, of coming and saying, yeah, I'm already doing that with your competitor. So if I'm already doing it with your competitor, so if you want to become not become like Google in 2 years, you better come start working with me. And you have 2 weeks to make a decision. So sorry. So a little bit of the Israeli shamelessness, please bring with you. But still, Germany is a very big country, so you know things take time. But anyway, super nice to talk to you. I really look forward to meeting you in Berlin. I'll send you an email, of course, to recap as always, and I'll ask you what is it that is more important for you to work with me when we meet in Berlin. I think maybe we'll split into 2 groups. I think we'll be 9 people. Maybe we split into 2 groups and we talk about different topics. So if you can tell me what is it that you feel most that you need from our session, then I will design it according to your needs. And we spend half a day together, so we have enough time. Good?
Great. Thank you so much.
Super. Thank you. Let's keep in touch. If you have any question, just contact me, okay?
All right.
Super. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Have a good
Thank you
Friday.
so much, Priel. Thank
Of
you.
course.
Bye.
Thank you too, guys.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Ciao. Bye.